On tonight's edition of the Overtime, NAU men's basketball is heading to the Big Sky tournament, plus an in-depth look at Lumberjacks assistant coach Galen Burenick, a former NAU player who is helping to lead this year's turnaround. Finally, the women's basketball season enters the Big Sky Conference tournament, ranked number 5 with the best record since 2006. All that and more on this edition of the Overtime. Thank you for joining us and welcome to this edition of the Overtime, Northern Arizona's only sports show. I'm your host, Jacob Terril, and joining alongside me is Mitchell McKenzie. Tonight we have a lot to talk about and unpack. Mitchell, you ready?
Yeah, Jacob, we've got a lot to unpack, so let's get started.
The first topic of the night is NAU men's basketball. They are currently fighting for a top 5 seed in the Big Sky Conference and that first round bye in the tournament. Although there are high hopes for this team this year, the Lumberjacks have persevered through a tough season. The team has shown why they have a good chance of making it all the way to the NCAA tournament. What do you think, Mitchell?
Well, I think this NAU men's basketball team is on fire this year. There are a bunch of players on this team that have stepped up for them. Every other team dictates where they stand in the tournament, so a first-round bye might be in their future next week. Their biggest game of the year, in my opinion, is the win against Montana on February 27th. From tip-off, NAU came running out, and late in the game, it got exciting as the score was close. That win was a milestone for the program. Key players for this team are Cameron Shelton and Bernie Andre. Shelton is averaging 14.4 points per game. Shelton has led this team to big wins this season as a huge performance at Idaho with 29 points. Andre has been averaging 10.8 points, which is way better than last season. Jacob, there is hope that this team can make it to the NCAA tournament, but first I would love to see a rematch against Montana next week at the Big Sky tournament.
Yeah, both teams took home a win this season, both in their home arenas. It would be interesting to see these teams match up again. Moving on to the women's side of the court, the Lumberjacks have clinched their first winning record since 2006. To put that in perspective, in 2006, the most grossing movie was Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. The most popular song was Bad Day by Daniel Powter, and the first iPhone wasn't even released until the next year. So Mitchell, what has been the main cause of this turnaround, and who can the girls' success be attributed to?
Well, Jacob, NAU women's basketball is sensational and crazy. Jacob, you said it very clear to our viewers. This team has the first winning record in 14 years. Head coach Loree Payne has turned this team around, and key players from last season have stepped up. That is leading this team to success this season. The main cause has been the offense overall. Offense is caused by points, and that's exactly what these women are doing on the basketball court. Some key players for this team are Khiarica Rasheed and Jacey Bailey. Rasheed is averaging 16.8 points per game and has a total of 158 total rebounds. Bailey, on the other hand, is averaging 14.4 points per game and has a total of 67 threes on the year. They are currently ranked number 5 in the Big Sky Conference, which does give them a bye next week, so hopefully they can make an NC tournament bid in March.
Although the Lumberjacks have had some late season struggles, they have lost 3 games in a row and are trying to turn it around. Head coach Loree Payne stresses how much this team needs to get on track before this tournament.
I'm focused on us right now, and we've dropped 3 straight, and so we need to figure out how to turn this thing around and, score and be able to stop people. We definitely need to get better in this next week before we face whoever we're going to play on Tuesday.
Well, hopefully the Lumberjacks can turn this around and go far in the tournament. Coming up, we have the Arizona Diamondbacks giving us their insight on spring training so far, and we'll dive into our prep athlete of the week. Stay tuned after the break.